Any louder? Test, test, test. What do you mean? Like, did I put myself on Kiwi Farm? I've never posted to Kiwi Farm.
It is quieter but less making noise.
I mean, it's further away from my head, I guess, so maybe that's... But it has audio. Quieter but less...
Also, for some reason, I cannot chat on the it. Yes.
You can't chat on the YouTube?
I'm not sure if it's my overlap being cut.
It's interesting that they have... No, well, like the whole... Whatever. It's like they have more problems than this site has when I'm trying to use it. But, anyways.
Google is run by people who identify as ornate buildings.
What does that mean? I mean, I know what it means theoretically, but... I'm gonna have to make a burrito or something.
Rick, what would be your black name? I've man. Building again. Kill.
Black name would... That's a good question.
Rick Harris.
I would like to have...
Rick.
I want like a
Rick
rapper name.
Rick Asia. Rick Hunter.
Actually, one of my handles used to be Rick Dog. Rick Dog for the longest time. The only problem with it is it's a little bit trite.
Ricky. Rick.
Can I read what you're typing? Can you hear me, Seta? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. So, see, I only saw a few posts on Twitter, and it was like, damn. She's talking about watching some of the posts on Twitter with, I don't know, Ashley or something. She's more than just titty stream. That's because Ashley showed vagina also. It's good to hear that my interactions have comparatively been smoother than others. Yeah, I mean, all the girls are pretty. And without having to tease or show too much skin. Yeah, you don't have to show that much skin. Actually,
Joel always shows swag.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to really kick ass as a streamer, you want to kick ass as a streamer, as a girl streamer, it's like 99% not showing titties. But then that makes your titties worth a lot of money when somebody does want to see them.
No, it's not just hands.
But you gotta have a personality that. But see, Soto has a personality. Well, the idea is like, look, I'm a person that you know, and now I know you, but I've never seen your titties. But I'm interested in you as a person. I'm actually impressed with your DNA. It's really, I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's tricking them into. It's actually tricking somebody into wanting to procreate with you, but this is not going to happen because they love you as a person now, but they've never seen your titties. So now, how much are they going to pay to see your titties? It's like infinite. What? What? She's just saying what? What?
What is Rick saying?
I was just, I'm explaining, like, whether you're a, look, there's a lot of titties on stream. It doesn't matter if you're on Twitch or Chatterbait or anything. It's all the same shit. I was just talking about how it works. I mean,
yeah, but you were saying.
What was I saying?
You know me without meeting me. Something about paying for boobs and procreating.
I was just, oh wow. I was just talking about. I was just talking about. Well, you're taking that.
Since I was also typing at the same time.
Yeah.
The best boobs are attached to someone you like.
Exactly. I was speaking in generalities, although.
Yes, and you can. Telling on you slow.
That's exactly what I was saying. What Kanye was saying. You understand that, right? The best streamer forms.
The best boobs are attached to each other.
The best streamer forms.
That's why I said yes.
A real connection.
No.
Like, if you look at the best Chatterbait streamers and the best Twitch streamers that are girls, it's like it's almost overlapping. It almost becomes the same. In fact, well, one of the best Chatterbait streamers does stream on Twitch.
How many Chatterbait streamers
also.
have you observed, Rick?
There's just some business research. It doesn't really. I mean, it doesn't really take that much or that many to kind of figure out what's going on with like the best ones. Now, the second best are just jerking themselves off on camera, and that's it. That's like second best. But the very best ones are connecting to the audience at all levels. And the same thing if they're on Twitch. Except on Twitch, you can't quite show the whole booth.
Having an engaging persona works in both worlds.
My question, oh, so I can't read this? Because it's personal?
Do some Satan shit. Rick.
Maybe. What do you mean? You don't, are you feeling self-doubt? There's no reason though. Just keep streaming. Everybody likes you.
Somebody's mad.
Just wait for it to reinforce. Just wait for all the people who like you to convince you that everything's okay. It just takes time. But I mean, really, you should be able to do it internally. But I'm just saying, it should be fine. Oh, I thought you were talking about streaming.
You are corrupting the poor girl, Rick.
This is a personal question. Hold on, I gotta write some personal things.
He is describing his bowels.
I'm having a delicate conversation with a very special person right now.
Asterisk sad pumpkin asterisk. Fuck. Your right hand. Pure and wholesome. Love to do both. Entwined hearts. Was fun, so don't do Satan shit.
Does that answer it? Is it figured out now?
With you in mind, cat. Asterisk carry. Haha. Lol.
Wait, what are we talking about now? I lost the thread.
OMG Rick. Goes. My heart. And empty free.
Mm-hmm. Every light stop. Press 1 if you're still there.
One. Hi. I have to grab printing. That message sitting and was like, yes. Asterisk enter asterisk.
That's nice. Had to grab printing. What do you mean, Kanye? I have to like print out.
I printed shit.
I have to print out some kind of Indian visa thing.
Printer is far away.
That's why I hooked up my printer. And then as soon as I turned the printer on, it blew a circuit breaker. And then all my robots went down. And then I plugged in. I've got a uninterrupted power supply. The power is so shitty here. I bought an uninterrupted power supply, and I put my computer on it, and now I've got my printer on it also. Kind of smooths things out. What do you mean, Exy?
Gonna go pick up a package. Remember to fill in India.
I'm just gonna be working on stuff in India.
No cabbage, but a fancy house.
Working on my harem. Can you have a harem in India?
She's going there to pick up cheap can girls. Both of you hire Indian people to run the site.
No, it's for just kidding about that harem.
No. Yeah, right.
No, the company that I worked for already. The company that I work for is hiring like a lot of engineers in India for obvious reasons. In fact, I think my job is just to look like I'm doing something. No, I think my job is just to make it look like they have somebody in America working for the most part. Here's an office. Might as well have somebody.
I'm not going to be a white monkey top guy. I'm a very white boy.
Yeah.
When you sit in on meetings, don't really do anything.
That would be the best job, yeah. Oh, they have like token white people? That'd be a great job, though. I'd take that shit in a heartbeat. I've heard about that aspect, though. Like one time I got invited to a conference, and my Chinese friend was just like, dude, they're just inviting everybody that looks like wipers in that conference. Some kind of science thing. It's funny because, like, in America, like, a lot of the people at the conferences they got really strong accents. If you're talking about, like, science, it's a lot of people with really strong accents from other countries, like first-generation immigrants.
We'll not make it through. Keep us, please.
And can be free. I will visit you in India.
Alice. I heard. For love. Ricky Poo. Ricky Poo. I need you.
Very tired. Keep the immune system gassing. can drink the water but don't eat the ice. Mascot Wizard. Vehicles.
This is good. This is good for dancing. Like you need this would be a good prop.
Don't eat the yellow snow.
Ricky Boo.
The 5 horses. Get rid honey.
I'm hungry.
That's a nice color.
I'm
On
so
the 5
hungry.
horse dances.
Please.
Rick enters the kitchen to prepare his big head. The kid listens to 10 hours for 5 horses. Just one egg can provide an entire day of energy for the rig. So does 2. Spin wheel. Scoop wheel. Spin wheel. And wheel wheel. And eggs are given 3 ice in a row. Ice. The house. It.
Haha.
It's never been to the cage.
I got you.
Egg.
Wrecked. 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 You got wrecked. Wrecked.
Eggy waggy.
Think about it. An
Ricky
egg.
Boo, I love Yahoo.
I don't know what I want to buy you for.
An egg can make a whole chicken.
Eggy waggy woo.
Rick.
Got some scram.
Acknowledge me, please.
Eat them heavy tails. This will not make me hungry. Shower gel, candies, or cutlery and dishes. Humans only need
Why are
one
we
egg
still
per
here?
day for nourishment.
Just the sucker.
Secret tails. Eating a chicken theory. Organic.
It's not eating your chicken. I mean, really, what you're eating is a chicken's food that they would eat.
When you're a CEO, you don't even need a plate. Chicken embryo.
Yeah, there might be. There's actually
Chicken
not.
cum.
There, all there is in a like one side of the embryo, right? If it's not fertilized, there's just literally
It's hen cum.
there's like an egg cell in there. There's an actual egg cell, right, in the egg.
That I grew up.
I accidentally deleted that request on Discord.
That please.
I cracked
Here's
several
what-
eggs with blood in them.
I love you.
The egg is an egg.
The egg is an egg. Yeah. Are you sure about that?
And realized after.
Because I
Pretty sure.
problem is it's like so big compared to the embryo.
Egg roll. How about Henry?
Can somebody explain
Scram.
what the deal is with an egg? You know, is an egg cell the same as an egg for sure? Doesn't sound. I've heard it before. It doesn't really sound right, but it could be right.
My mother is scared. Not me. We need Greek expert.
Wait, Soto, you are a biologist.
Expert. So Greek expert. So Greek certified. What's up?
Egg,
Listening to sounds here.
egg versus egg.
Every question.
Egg versus egg cell. Compare and contrast. Compare and contrast. In other words, is there an egg cell somewhere in the egg? Or is the egg an egg cell? Which it'd be hard to believe that the whole egg is one
Tell us
cell.
exactly what it is. The egg is an egg cell. Egg is egg is egg.
Okay, so how does that work though? Because it just doesn't sound right. Like when an egg cell
Basically,
divides,
chicken period straw.
that would mean the whole egg would like divide into 2 and then 4 and then like inside the membrane. It doesn't sound right. I think the embryo is a lot smaller than that when it's.
You ate the fucking egg cream. Hey Rick. With me. Okay, well, it's customary for the light to start dividing. The egg.
I'm gonna have to look this up just to make sure.
It's only a haploid cell.
Okay,
You
now
should make yourself one of those humanoid robots. Roosters don't come on eggs after they are laid. Like fish. What the heck?
I think the answer is gonna be like
Rick, you cute.
a little bit of both.
This is science.
All right.
Tell me I am wrong.
Biologists like to argue over the semantics of this, but it's generally accepted that the yolk of an egg is one single massive cell, the yolk, thousands of times bigger than typical cells.
You are a fucking yolk, Rick.
They should say more than thousands. It's probably millions of times bigger than a typical cell. It's or
One
hundreds.
giant chicken period.
It is sometimes visible as a small spot on the surface of the yolk, though, called a blood spot. Hold on now. The yolk of an egg is one single massive cell, which is not. That's actually okay. The truth. There's a little more to the truth than anybody here pointed out, though. For one thing,
it's just scram. But as you said, initially.
Eggs with blood spots, sometimes called meat spots, are fine to eat as long as they are properly cooked. Blood or meat spots are caused by the rupture of a blood vessel on the yolk surface, which is being formed by a similar accident in the wall of oviduct in the hip's reproductive tract. What the fuck? All right. Is the yolk of an egg the egg cell? Yolk mass together with the egg cell or ovum are enclosed by vitellary membrane, whose structure is different from a cell membrane, as to the chicken egg yolk is a major source of vitamins and minerals. This is. I'm just saying, this is a little more complex than just a yes or no answer. The yolk mass together with the egg cell or ovum are enclosed by the vitellamine membrane.
Rick, I have something to tell you. So you can imagine my horror when she got for a coon. Let me get a man to Rick.
What do you have to tell me?
Bro, if I took embryology, I would be able to tell you more, I'm sure. I need your views.
I mean, I have a master's degree in bioengineering. I don't know what the fucking egg is. the chicken egg. So it never came up.
You. Same. Rick is a smart cookie. Like a baby tag. You now Rick.
But yeah.
Even in biotech, we didn't touch on that. I first.
Okay.
Rick.
Here's another thing.
It's just a bit of scram.
From which part of the egg is the chicken born? Egg yolk or egg white?
Yolk. Yolk.
All right. The small part called the germinal vessel grows into the little chicken. This is what I'm saying. There's a germinal vessel. The yolk provides nutrition until it grows. For the white oat, before we ready to fertilize, I want to know what the germinal vessel is. Okay. What's a germinal vessel? This is really interesting, actually.
Let me suck on your penis tip, Rick, please. Little.
Only, oh, you have to. For one thing, I have to see a picture before I can agree to anything. The germinal vessel is the nucleus of an oocyte
Rick, please.
that is arrested in prophase of meiosis. The germinal vessel is the nucleus of an oocyte that is arrested in prophase of meiosis. The nuclear envelope of the germinal will break down, and the oocyte resumes meiosis in response to luteinizing hormone surge that occurs prior to ovulation. Keep that in mind, kids. Working on it.
I can only get so wrecked. Rick, stop.
Germinal vessel breakdown. Dissolution of the nucleus of an oocyte that arrests in Dude, this is what I'm getting. I'm starting to get out of this. The egg cell, the egg is like it's like some kind of really strange. Like the chicken egg is like some really strange abomination of a biological cell. Like the biological cell blows its membrane out to the size of a yolk, and somehow the nucleus stays small or something. And that's the part that divides. There's something bizarre going on. I know they're dinosaurs.
It is many cells. You are talking about.
No. The yolk is essentially a single cell. That's what I just read.
One you can tell. I have a question for real. What's the crunchy outside?
What's the question?
How long did it take you to build a humanoid robot for Ice the Tiger?
It took about, I don't even know. It was like 1 to 2 months. It's very complicated. All that stuff had to be 3D printed. It wasn't just like it was like designed and all that 3D printed and tested and shit. There's a lot of shit going on with that.
Dang. Do you have a 3D printing?
Required custom software. I mean, if he paid somebody to.
You're kind of cute. I tried to make a rhyme. It was terrible.
I'm gonna make Columbia look like.
You should make one for your
strange
house
rhyme.
or apartment. No, it's just a meme. So we only rhyme in full diamond scare.
Are you female, Sambat 123?
Hell. No, I just want a dick.
Like in the ass?
They said hello to me, so probably not. Please. Rick, give this fella some pig. Haha. And a grocery bag full of your cubes.
Mm-hmm.
There once was a guy named Rick who ate an egg and pondered what if.
Well, you were saying that I was eating a chicken, and I'm eating a chicken cell, I guess.
Let me make that weird.
But
take off the jacket, you look warm.
I mean, look, look. There's some cells for you. They're flying off.
Chicken spirit, drop.
Big deal.
We are all just harassing Rick. Never hot.
I think it's morally acceptable to. Well, let's ask the question. Let's ask the question. Because it might not always be true, but is it morally acceptable to kill a cell? Yes or no?
Rick's a good-looking boy. Yes.
Why?
We all know that.
Why is it morally acceptable to kill a cell?
The chickens don't eat them. Who cares?
Well, who cares about?
Rick is going to hit its big in Bollywood.
Who cares about killing anybody? That's not an answer. That's not an answer to the question. I'm saying, is it morally acceptable to kill a cell?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Why?
Depends on its value or use. Who cares about cells? They die all the time.
People die all the time too.
Killing a terrorist cell is
it morally acceptable to kill a person?
Depends.
So it depends for a person.
Yes, if they are a terrorist. Person is a bunch of cells.
I know.
No brain, no tensions, no nervous system. Depends for a cell.
So a collection of cells? Oh, I don't debate abortion. I will tell you about abortion. I'm not going to debate about it.
Abortion is okay. Tell me.
No, okay. Okay, let's say you got a 10-year-old kid and you just kill him. Okay, that's called murder. It's usually illegal, right?
Wrong.
What? No? I'm already wrong?
Typically, yes. I meant that is wrong.
Which part's wrong?
Abortion. Like to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Pickles.
So, but some women actually do that. They're like, I shouldn't have this kid. And they kill him after they're like 10 years old. That's called murder in pretty much any state, though. I mean, I'm just saying, like, pretty much any state that's considered murder. It's not ethically acceptable to hardly anybody, right? Now, if we start there, and let's start backing up. Let's go to 9 years old, still murder. 8 years old, still murder. 7 years old, it's still murder until you get down to about 1 year. The laws actually start to shift now when you get down to about 1 year. Now, here's the thing. It's like morality, whatever. The laws tend to be like a loose correlation to morality, but people don't know how to grapple with the idea of like continuous morality. They don't know how to grapple with the idea of something getting continuously worse in a continuous manner. They want to try to zero or one it, like make it evil or good or evil. I don't know why exactly. Everything's like a sliding scale with people trying to make it 0 or 1, good or evil. But if you look at the laws in total, you can start to map like how the shitty binary system is trying to map onto what the reality of the ethics actually are. And if you get down to like 1 year, the punishments and the shit start to change. Like if a mother kills her own child that's 1 year old, it's not necessarily considered like as serious as an actual murder charge. I'm just saying. You can look it up if you want. I already have. All right. And then if you come down to like super young child, like I'm just talking about right now. I'm not even talking about what my opinion is. I'm just talking about how prosecution law systems and stuff break down. And if you come all the way back to like
Oh, well, that's WTF.
The baby has just been born, and then she throws it in a dumpster or something. That's even less.
With what?
That's even less of a crime than like the 1-year-old.
No.
Okay.
Nobody else has heard of this.
It's called infanticide. I'm just saying, you guys wanted to talk about abortion, so I'm setting the whole fucking thing up. All right. Now, then there's like killing the baby right before it's born, which has been done before
Abortion law.
in legal situations. It doesn't seem right, but people have done it. They've killed a baby like right before it's born. And that's technically considered like abortion, at least in some places. I think it's been legal before, like in some places at least. Probably not in all states. All right. Then you back up. Let's say it's like 8 months old. All right. That's going to start to depend on like.
You make it sound like it's what legal now or something.
Well, I'm just saying the laws are less. Basically, you're going to be in prison for a shorter time, depending on how far back we go. So if we go back to like, now if we go back to baby is only 6 months old instead of 9 months, okay? Now in a lot of states it's actually legal to just kill it, right? 6 months old. It's illegal to kill a 6-month-old. I mean, like embryo to 6 months. I think that's true, but it's still somewhat immoral, right? I mean, at least somewhat immoral. It's just crossed over the threshold of like being legal. And then if you back up to like 3 months old, it's legal in many, many states, right? And then if you back up to like 3 weeks old, probably legal in all states, right? And then if you back up to, if you back up to like, the embryo was, well, we're not talking about the circumstances. No, if you got raped and you had a child and the child's 10 years old, you're not allowed to murder the child that's 10 years old because it came from a rape. So the rape is, even though it certainly factors in, the rape isn't necessarily what we're talking about here. We're talking about when does a human life become a human life. Starts out as a cell. Well, what I'm saying is the point of birth is not a good dividing line anyway, right? Because a baby after it's born is almost the same as a baby before it's born. So if you want to say no, the brain is pretty much the same set of neurons. So what's the big difference?
America would be 25% white if it weren't for abortion. When it wiggles its teeny toes and fingers.
It wiggles its teeny toes while it's still inside.
A fetus is a human. That's the bottom line.
So anyways, but what I'm telling you is, and this is not a fucking debate. I'm just telling you. If you believe that killing one cell, the cell was just fertilized, and it's still just one cell, with like a morning after pill. If you believe that that's okay, I think that's okay. It doesn't seem that bad to kill like one fertilized cell somehow or something or whatever. If you believe that that's okay, and if you believe that killing a baby after it's born is wrong,
abortion should be legal until they can recognize themselves in mirror. No.
If you believe these two things, the one, killing one cell is not that bad, and killing a baby after it's born is bad, then all I'm saying is there's a continuous process there's a completely continuous process where it's so continuous you can't tell the difference from one day to the next, transitioning from something that's a ethically acceptable act to something that's totally ethically unacceptable. and you're hitting every point in between over a 9-month period. So where are you going to draw the line? Where are you going to draw the line and say, good or bad? I mean, it's up to you, but I'm just saying, I think the earlier in the process, if you don't want to have a child, the earlier in the process you don't have a child, the more ethical you're behaving. Okay. Are we clear now? Have we cleared up the whole abortion problem? Press 1 if yes, 2 if no.
Yes. 2. I think it's too great to have any hard and fast rules at all.
Well, I didn't even say what the rules would be yet. I just wanted to outline like what the situation was ethically.
Well, I'm really sorry for bringing it up. This is Robert Streeter WTF. He got to the point.
Do you actually want to talk about what the punishments should be? Because I'm not going to have that conversation. I get into too much trouble when I do that. I'm just talking about just at a theoretical level, like what is ethical, what's not.
I totally did an abort once last weekend. Your inside have a future.
How old? Well, how old was it? That's what I'm saying. That's the number that I need. How many days? How many months?
35.
35 what? Days?
7 weeks in.
7 weeks?
Trimesters.
So like one, I don't know. I mean, you're in that gray area, but it when you killed it, it did look like a tiny little baby. So I know what they look like at about that range. Looks like a little alien baby.
Yeah, I saw it. Did you have the abortion after the baby shower? I think I leave their love. On the ultrasound.
Mm-hmm. It's sad. I think that's sad.
I was 40.
But
fishy fish.
If you kill the fish, I think that's sad too. I mean, that's about what it is at that point.
Rick, I think I leave their love. It's not murder if you eat it afterwards. You don't have one fish. I will. I want fish. It was sad to be in that scenario, but not sad to afford. Can you close your neck, you party? Fishy, wishy, and happy waggy. Think 7 weeks is the usual time that they abort, right?
I think the times are all different. I think the times are all quite a bit different, depending on when somebody notices or decides it.
I don't think it is. My friend also had one. Abort. A robot pussy. I'm such a naughty robot. And have to wait.
Oh, they waited.
She was told to.
They wanted it to be big enough to pull out easily or something? Probably.
Really did not want to.
Doesn't seem right.
Poor girl. Never heard of waiting tea.
Well, that baby was like totally fucked. That's the thing. I feel sorry for the fetus. Like
they must suffer for not closing legs.
The fetus is just like hanging out. Hey, I'm almost alive. What? Nope.
It was 7 weeks as well.
Yeah. We could look up the distribution and the probability of abortion being done with respect to time. I mean, the government goes out and murders people when they're like full-grown adults. It's called war, and that's considered legal. So it's all gray area. It's all gray area, but on this question of like when does the thing become a human, it's definitely a continuous chain.
Yeah, let's go. Shop suicide be legal.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do? Put somebody in jail for killing themselves? How? Well, like, what is that even?
When you are old enough to know whether
It's like banning somebody from, Twitch bans you if you kill yourself.
You only get to kill yourself if you don't get caught. No. So you can't do it again.
Aborting yourself is a lot different than aborting a child.
All the brainlets have to suffer until natural causes.
Oh, we all know why suicide evolved, right? It's like cell apoptosis, but on the level of an entire human being. Like if somebody, there's a thing in your brain that kind of evaluates, like,
Not saying I want to fight fall.
yeah.
Some people want to fall.
It benefited the species probably to have people just eliminating themselves every now and then, but
I take my life like I kept it.
but I'm not going to eliminate myself. I mean, it's a short life anyway.
It still does.
You're gonna, I mean, life's super short anyway, and as long as there's an
I
opportunity
still want
to have some kind of fun, why would you want to kill yourself? I don't really get the whole suicide thing, but
Spoken like someone who doesn't know pain.
oh
Yeah,
please.
pain is what we great. Suicide is lame. Pain is
I'm
uncool.
just spoken like somebody who's not a whiner. That's just like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself. I don't know. I shouldn't say that, but it's like
Man, life is
sorry.
long. And the causes inducing factor.
Like,
It's more than that.
unfortunately,
I think about
suicide.
Constantly, not even in a sad way.
Unfortunately,
You know,
the thing with suicide is it's usually committed by teens, and it's a program.
visit hell with me.
It's a programmed
Suicide
response
is painless.
to essentially not being able to figure out what somebody's own value is,
This is getting dark.
which is sad.
It brings
No,
on many
it's sad.
changes.
I can't really understand it because I've never been suicidal. I've been unhappy,
You can take or leave it as you choose.
but I've never been suicidal.
Suggested suicide. Rick, we need you.
I just love myself too much, I guess. Or I love life too much.
Happy Rick equals best Rick.
I love life too much.
I love you too, Rick. Hard. Don't worry, I'll help you, Rick.
Thanks, Sarah.
Teach me the ways.
I'll teach you to be happy.
I'll make it painless.
Private lessons.
Aren't you in San Francisco?
Yeah.
And then teach me it'll be easy. How is the Golden Gate Bridge? Tell us about the mile of shit.
The Golden Gate Bridge.
There's some people like me who kill babies. You're not what suicide if you took them to a high cliff.
I don't really.
Rick got kicked off the Golden Gate by cops.
Well, Chili's in the military, and I don't know if he ever killed anybody, but it's possible that he's killed full-grown adults. Do you think I'm judging him or you for killing anybody? I mean,
Another user. What branch?
I'm not really thinking about it that hard.
Based okay with killing Rick.
I'm not okay with killing. I'm just saying I'll take it one person at a time, you know.
Yeah, you are.
If somebody came on in here and said they committed a murder 20 years ago and just shot somebody in cold blood, and then they became like a troll on my site, and then everybody liked him because they had a good personality, it'd be like, well, maybe you made a mistake 20 years ago. It's like, whatever.
I committed a murder 20 years ago.
I knew a guy who committed a murder 20 years ago, and he was fine. It's like, he made a mistake.
It wasn't a mistake.
Okay, well, who did you kill?
Tasted like chicken. Yo, me too. Medicus was talking about rigging his mouth with a gun for suicide. We have a family friend who killed a guy out of dumbass rage. And live streaming it. He tried to get us to inject him with a needle. Medicus. It was weird. Donate for Sudoku. Remember Rick.
See, I think that here's the thing. This is the way my viewpoints might be a little bit. They might take some time to explain, I guess. I mean, I think killing an animal is pretty much like killing a cow is pretty much the same as murder. It's pretty close to murdering a human, right? But people do it all the time. And
you're just a token Jehovah's Witness, I understand.
No, Jehovah's Witnesses don't share this view with me. They actually think that it's okay to kill animals under the current circumstances.
Can you bang me in Bangalore? Yeah, you're talking. Cows definitely have less value than us.
I can bang you in any country. What are you talking about?
Don't say that.
There's no restrictions on that.
I want to talk you so hard.
I wonder if there's a country where it's illegal to bang. There probably is.
Bangalore might be risky. Okay, banging. Nazi Germany if you're up to Jerusalem.
Jerusalem?
Rick.
What do you mean? Anyway, what I'm saying is humans operate in a state, humans are always operating in a state of immorality. I mean, like, if I were to go around judging people, because if I were like using any kind of reasonable ethical system to judge most people, I'd be like, you're all fucked, basically. Like, nobody's acting ethically. Except maybe, I mean, some are more than others. Yeah, if you're like a vegan hippie that never hurts anything, you're like closer to being ethical in my view than somebody selected at random. But, it's a pretty big mess. I'm not going to go around judging every people for their ethics unless they're, but there are gradations. Like if somebody was literally just like shooting people for fun, then I would judge them at that point.
It's unethical to survive.
I don't care. Soto, I don't mind if people know or not. I just don't. What I'm saying is I don't leak information willingly. People still figure it out. And I know that they're going.
I have so much paperwork to do for the Navy already, and I'm not.
Trust me, there are people that know already, but I just let the information leak out at a.
Oh, what?
I'm sure. I don't know, but I'm just saying people are smart enough to like pick up on things. I don't know who.
Right.
It just becomes more clear over time.
Your address?
No, well, that, but other things too. Doesn't matter.
We all know that. Rick, do you want to be best friends or what? What are we talking?
What are we talking about?
Combat 123 is in the Navy.
I think best friend is kind of an exclusive thing. I mean, I don't know. No, not to say that I wouldn't be a best friend. I'm just. How about we just have multiple friendships? I'm like poly friend.
You can have only one best friend.
Poly friend.
I'm not in the Navy. Marine Corps. Friends is comfy. I'm just fucking gay and retarded. I think of you as a friend. Otherwise, it's not the best.
There can only be one best by definition.
Rick is the best. Okay, low. Low. Rick is best. Licking boy. Peanut butter licking. Depends on the category. Quality content. Evolution, revolution. Glad I'm spending my time on this. Licky Ricky. I love this.
Wow, Sambat. You should. I want you to actually subscribe.
Rick,
have you subscribed on RickCast? Whatever. No, it doesn't cost anything. I need to get my Twitter going so people can like subscribe to that. I want to have like RickCast Twitter so people can follow that. That's what was not working when we started. But I have the YouTube that nobody knows about yet, on RickCast.com, and I've got a Discord for the RickCast community. Soon to have Twitter. And of course, the primary live stream. Well, that's like asking. That's kind of fun. I mean, that's about it.
Rick has a punchable face. Rick, you know about Hunger Game. Nothing else. Rick, if you click it on this too fast, you don't get the announcements. Do you think wait a moment?
No, if you give small amounts, you don't get the amount.
Has a curious life. On the hunks and shit.
Oh.
Doesn't care.
Well, if you click, I don't know. I've seen people spam it. I've seen it like overlapping with the honks or the but I don't know. It was different people, so maybe that made a difference.
You gotta wait every second or so. Can't just click it.
Interesting. Something we'll need to fix eventually.
Gary Fan 666 exclamation get 100.
So you get a reward for doing a bigger one. TTS thing.
Gary Fan 666 exclamation get maybe. Gary Fan 666 exclamation get 75. Punk.
Thanks, homie. Appreciate that.
First gram. So you can eat more gram.
Can you eat more egg cells?
Tasty egg.
All right. Well, if there are no more questions, if nothing else needs.
Watch the Bald and guy on YouTube and that's going to India.
Late 30s. If there are no more questions about anything that needs to be resolved, I can resolve those, like, you know, abortion or whatever.
Wait. What's your VJ? Rick, I have a question.
Okay. What's the question?
VJPLS. How do you deal with gun control?
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Control. That one's actually harder. That one's actually a little harder to talk about than abortion, almost. Because it's a hard. So I want to just make a strong statement and say there are a bunch of fucking gun nuts. People should not have guns. Or make another strong statement and be like. Or no, I haven't even said what my opinion is. Or make another strong statement and just be like, everybody should be allowed to have guns so the government doesn't take over everything. I'd like to be on one extreme side or the other, but unfortunately, neither one of the extreme sides is really a good idea in this case. Like, so if everybody's running around with assault weapons, it's just a matter of time before one of them is, you know, unhappy and shoots up school, right? It's too easy to do it. And then on the other side, like, well, you could say absolutely nobody have a gun whatsoever for any reason, but then even like hunters can't have guns, and we are reminded that Hitler took away everybody's guns before he took over the fucking country and, you know, installed his insane
What?
dictatorships.
Yeah, but
He basically did it to take away all the power from the individual people. He took away all the guns before he set up the fascist rule.
I live on a country where guns can be easily acquired.
So probably the centralist view would probably be like you can allow guns, but they have to be. It has to be like. I really think it should be an exceptional case that you're allowed to have a gun. In other words, it has to be like very well verified. For some reason, you're actually allowed to have it.
Criminals don't care about gun laws. You pass on some exam.
Criminals do care about gun laws. It changes the price of a gun.
They have done whatever the law says.
No, it changes the price and the access. That's what laws do for anything.
They have to be registered. Is what I mean. Ghost guns are made in fucking Philippines.
So what? What are you even talking about now? You can make nuclear weapons also, but that doesn't mean that nuclear weapons should be completely legalized. Like, what are you even like? What is the point that you're even making?
Nuclear weapons don't exist. Yeah, but the underlying problem is the logic that the guns have around. What if I want to hunt deer with a nuke? You can create something from scratch and shoot solid. Because you can.
You can, but these are all. It's harder to do that though. Dude, I can murder 60 people in one day with my bare hands if I'm really if I really know what I'm doing. It doesn't really matter, right?
I was paid to see that.
But the point is, regulating guns is just a way to make these things harder to do, more expensive. It's essentially, regulating guns is making the cost of committing a massacre higher, right? It economically increases the cost of creating a committing a massacre. And by increasing the cost, the probability of it occurring goes down some.
There are too many out there. Shooters have no budget both because they're on the way out.
No, everybody has a budget, bro.
And flame trucks of peace in the UK.
What is that? I don't know. I could look it up.
When there is a will, there is a way.
We're talking about.
It just becomes bombs and cars as weapons. You should just shot each other until you all die.
Well, bombs aren't really legal to set off either, right? You think that setting off a bomb should be legal?
No.
The idea with making something illegal is not that you're going to eliminate it completely. This goes for everything. Like you could say, well, you don't need to make robbing banks illegal because people are going to do it anyway. Oh, you shouldn't make like look stuff that it's just when you make something legal, it doesn't mean that it stops happening or that it can't be done anymore. It just means that the cost of committing it, the action, goes up. Right? So in this case, we're just saying raise the cost of acquiring something that makes it easy to kill a lot of people quickly. Are we clear on the gun thing now? Are there any other questions?
Murder is already illegal, so you're also making the drug price pay a higher price. How is that being made? It's your opinion.
You know what? The good guys.
The cops are only minutes away.
The good guys always. Actually, that's not completely true. What I'm saying, I mean. Yeah, I mean, well, what I was saying is if you had a very stringent process, let's say like,
Because you can.
let's just say for instance you had a very stringent process on acquiring a gun. Like you had to, you don't have to be a police officer, but you have to be like, you have to have a record that is so clear and a psychological profile that is so good that you basically could be a police officer, but you're not, right? And it has to be like top
I want that to be the girl.
99 percentile.
Yeah, that's it.
And if it is, then
Nobody wants to be a police officer.
you're allowed to have a gun.
True.
And if it's not, then you're not. Then it would actually cost less for the people that, for those people that actually pass the test, it would cost less. And for the people that don't pass the test, they have to go through the black market and pay 10 times as much. And that's the point of the law. That's the point of the law. To make it cost more for some people and less for others.
I guess, but I just don't believe it will play out that way. People don't buy these guns.
Anyways, what do you want to do? You want to take one extreme stance or another? I mean, do you guys want to take one of the extreme stances? Because I'm saying, like, it should be not extreme stance.
I want to ask something.
Okay. What do you want to ask?
I don't think it's something either.
I don't know what the current laws are, so I don't even know what the current thing
I want
is.
Tabby.
Exactly. But it varies a lot from state to state. So that's actually a pretty good system. If you want to run around with guns flinging out of your pockets like all day long, move to Texas. And if you want like,
What's your take on Tabby?
if you want to live in a place where they're more regulated, move to California, right? You
Arizona.
just take your pick.
You can move to most states and do that.
Just take your pick. It's actually the fact that we have options is a pretty good way. That's a pretty good way to take a middle ground. Just create geographic regions that have different law systems.
I just think that you shouldn't trade freedom for false safety. States' rights are already important.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's a cool thing. Not ethno states, just states.
Fuck the feds.
I actually think it's really cool that America still has like little baby countries inside of the big
Alright, I'm
country.
gonna get out.
All right,
See ya, Ricky.
see ya. Are you sure you're not a girl? Because you're acting like one. But all right. So next Discord, I mean next RickCast, officially Wednesday.
Bye.
It's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, around this time. And this one's over. Thanks.
Regulate RickCast.
Thanks, Maticus, Gary,
Colon.
Sam Bat.
Can you sniff those out too?
Soto was in here. Anybody else? Anonymous. Hydra.
Yeah, Ivy.
Peace out.
Bye, Rick.